Excessive carbon emission and global climate change. Climate change by definition means the shift in worldwide weather phenomena associated with an increase in global average temperature. The term weather and climate are often used in correlation to one another, but the two terms actually differs. Weather differs from climate as weather refers to short-term changes, while climate refers to long-term atmospheric changes. But how does climate occur? When the sun interacts with the atmosphere, ocean, land, ice, clouds and living things, it will create a climate. It is a complex reaction and is not the same all over the planet. For example, in Utah, the climate is typically warm and dry in the summer, and is cold during the winter, with occasional snowstorms. In Thailand, on the other hand, it is hot and humid throughout the year and experience a period of monsoon. Climate change always happens gradually. The reason to why it happens gradually is to allow and give time to the living things on Earth to adapt to these changes. However, today, scientists find that the Earth's climate is changing at an alarming rate, and the living things cannot adapt that fast. The Earth is rapidly heating up. Now, let's look at some of the evidence of climate change on Earth. In the mountains of American West, Pika lives in the high alpine slopes in Utah. Pika is very sensitive to heat. If the temperature is more than 25 degrees Celsius, they will get overheated and die. Throughout the years, the scientists discover that the pikas are disappearing from lower elevations, as they were forced to move higher up due to the increasing temperature. In fact, the pikas are now up for extinction. In western Russia, the heat wave that occurred in the summer of 2010, where it is 100 degrees Fahrenheit for weeks, was deemed as the worst heat wave in 1,000 years. This heat wave has triggered massive forest fires that last for weeks and weeks. The fires also causes the release of toxic smoke that choked the city Moscow, and kills approximately 700 people per day. So, those are some of the evidences of climate change in the world.
Have you ever wondered what made the climate change occur? What is the cause? What factors contribute to the climate change? You might wonder, how can the atmosphere prevent the heat from escape and keep the earth warm? Here the answer. It is because one of the gases in the atmosphere, which is called carbon dioxide or CO2. Carbon dioxide can't be seen with naked eyes, but it can be found anywhere on Earth. Actually, for instance, the gas that we breathe out is carbon dioxide. And same goes with the animal when they exhale after breathe in oxygen. Plants then use carbon dioxide along with sunlight under photosynthesis to make food for their growth development, and they release lots of oxygen for us to breathe. The carbon dioxide that left over or not used will float up into the atmosphere and helps keep the earth warm by block the heat from the sunlight escape to the outer space. But there is problem that occurred in several years due to this carbon dioxide, which is climate change. The effects of these rapid atmospheric changes can be seen from the rising sea level, dying forests, floods, droughts, and more to list here. We base our global warming model on the amount of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases humankind is releasing into the air. The acceleration of global warming can be linked to an increase in industry, forest destruction, and agriculture, which are major producers of greenhouse gases, especially carbon dioxide. Last 160,000 years before the Industrial Revolution, the concentration of carbon dioxide, the most prevalent of the greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, never exceeded about 280 parts per million. Since then, carbon dioxide has risen to about 360 parts per million and continues to rise. Scientists have observed that the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere has been steadily rose year by year. Scientists now know that excess carbon dioxide and some other gases in small amounts are prevented from escaping, and this is warming up the planet. They call it greenhouse effect. So consider this. Have you ever put on too many blankets at night? If you have woken up hot and clammy, then you know how the earth feels when it has more carbon dioxide than it can handle. This is the graph of average temperature rise since 1880, and check out this graph of carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere since 1880. Now let's look at them both, see how they are rising together. That's because as carbon dioxide goes up, the temperature does. They are directly connected. Now, let us take a look on how the climate change can affect to the whole.
Hello. Let's move to the effects of climate change. There are 5 impacts of global climate change, which are extreme weather, ice melting, ocean become warming and acidifying, spreading of disease and crops and food formation destroyed. The example of extreme weather are heat waves, droughts, coastal flooding, and more severe, which is hurricane. Extreme weather like heat wave is very dangerous as it can create serious health risk and can lead to heat exhaustion and heat stroke. If nighttime temperatures do not drop, extreme heat can be a killer. Scientists expected that heat waves become more frequent and severe as global warming raised year by year. Coastal flooding happened due to the extreme rainfall. Extreme rainfall increased across the globe as the warming atmosphere holds more moisture. As temperatures increase, more rain falls during the heaviest downpours, increasing the risk of flooding events. Hurricane, which is a natural disaster, happened due to the rising of global warming. The most significant negative impact that can happen is the ecosystem changing as the entire food chain destroyed. The next effect of climate change is ice melting. This happens at the Earth's poles, and this can affect to the polar bear as they will soon starve. This is what climate change look like. The polar bear starving and looking for the food that is not suitable to them, then this cause the polar bear has only few more hours to live. Ocean become warming and acidifying, also one of the effect. As the air warming, the water is warming too, which are not good because oxygen doesn't dissolve in warm water but only dissolve in cooler. However, ocean become acidic is when the sea water reacts with the carbon dioxide will form carbonic acid. The next effect is spreading of disease. Climate change creates new risks for human, which being exposed to vector-borne diseases. For example, rising global temperatures can increase the geographic range of disease-carrying insects. As temperatures warm, mosquitoes can move into higher altitudes and new regions. It can be seen that vector-borne disease has spread to many other parts of the world, which have become a serious global widespread disease. For the last effect of climate change is crops and food formation destroyed. These pictures show the example of damaged crops. This happened due to the changes to rainfall patterns, increasingly severe drought, more frequent heat waves, flooding and extreme weather. That's all for the effect of climate change.
Rapid climate change affects the whole planet. But you might be surprised to know that one person, meaning you, can make a big difference doing your part to help the planet cool down. Starts with understanding something called your carbon footprint. Your carbon footprint is the amount of carbon dioxide created by the stuff you do in your daily life. Every day, we consume energy for things like air conditioning, light, surfing the web, watching TV, and getting from place to place in a car. Plus, the stuff you buy and use takes energy to make and deliver, so you're reconsuming energy when you say let's eat some pizza or let's buy some groceries. As we all know, using energy is the biggest thing that makes planet warming carbon dioxide. So should you stop cooling your house, turning off all the light, and never buy anything? Of course not. But you can use less energy in your everyday life, making your carbon footprint smaller. This isn't just better for the planet, it can save a lot of money too. Easy, simple thing can make a big difference. For instance, you can replace the regular light bulbs in your house with energy-saving one called compact fluorescent light bulbs. This guy can reduce carbon dioxide as much as £500 1 year per bulb and give off 70% less heat. And don't you forget to turn off the lights when you leave the room. When you can, try taking public transportation instead of going by cars. It saves a lot of gas. Did you know that every 1 gallon of gasoline that you don't use reduces your carbon footprint by 20 pounds? Also consider recycling most of your stuff. Recycling is important because it reduces the amount of stuff that has to be made from scratch, and that means less energy gets used up. You can save £2,400 of carbon dioxide annually. These tips are just a start. There are many more things you can do to shrink your carbon footprint, from the size of an elephant to size of a child. If everybody does their part, our Earth can be saved. Think about the impact your daily life has on the planet. So get started. That's all from us. Thank you for watching. Don't you forget to subscribe.
Bye bye.